The day you knew it was ending, you noticed how they held their coffee cup. Both hands, always both hands, even in summer. You had seen it 1,000 times and never really seen it, but that morning it felt like something you were memorizing. And that is the moment this is about. There is something that happens in the last chapter of a love. Not the screaming part, not the silence after an argument, but the quieter kind of ending, the one you can feel arriving before either of you has said it out loud. A softness comes in, not resignation, something closer to clarity. You stop performing. That is the first thing. For months or years you had been, on some level, managing how you appeared, more patient than you felt, more certain than you were, editing yourself in small ways you barely noticed. But when you understand that the relationship has a horizon, some of that effort quietly drops away. You show up a little more as yourself. The philosopher Simone de Beauvoir wrote about her relationship with Sartre as one that depended on its own freedom. The knowledge that neither was obligated to stay made the staying mean something. That observation gets dismissed sometimes as cold, even cynical. But she was pointing at something true, that a love held loosely, a love that knows it could end, is a love that has to be chosen. Again and again. Each time it is chosen, it is real. When you know your time with someone is limited, whether it is a relationship dissolving slowly, or a friend moving to another continent, or even just a night that you understand will not repeat, the attention changes. You listen differently, not to fix anything, not to respond, but simply to hear. You are less interested in being right and more interested in them. It is such a quiet shift, but you feel it. Psychologists who study what is sometimes called mortality salience, the awareness that something will end, find consistently that it narrows attention toward what matters. The trivial falls away. The beautiful becomes visible. This is not only about death. It applies to any door you can see slowly closing. The argument you thought you needed to win suddenly seems exhausting and small. The way they pronounce a word you always found slightly irritating becomes, somehow, a thing you will miss. You start noticing the ordinary, the specific way they laugh at their own jokes before they finish telling them, the particular drawer they always leave open, the sound of them in another room. These details were always there, but it takes the knowledge of ending for them to become luminous. Not sad, or not only sad, luminous. The way the last light of the day is more beautiful than the light at noon. What you are doing, in those final months or weeks, is loving without the future in it. You cannot bargain with it anymore. You cannot be building toward anything. The love has nowhere to go except into the present moment, into this person, exactly as they are, right now. And that might be the most honest love is ever allowed to be. There is a particular kind of grief that arrives not when something ends, but just before. When you can see the ending coming, and the thing still exists. You are holding something you know you are about to lose. Psychologists sometimes call this anticipatory grief, but inside a love it feels less like grief and more like reverence, a tenderness that has become very still. You forgive things you had been quietly keeping, not in a grand way, more like you stop adding them to a list you did not even know you were keeping. The way they went quiet when they should have spoken. The way you did too. The years where you were both slightly elsewhere. You do not excuse it. You just stop needing it to have been different because what matters now is here. And there is not much time left for anything that is not that. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke wrote in a letter in 1904 that love was not about merging or dissolving into another person, but about two solitudes protecting and greeting each other. Most people read that as beautiful but abstract. But it lands differently when you are in an ending. Because when you are no longer trying to keep something or change something, you finally see the person next to you as someone separate, whole, not yours, themselves, and you love them for that. maybe for the first time cleanly. This is not an argument for endings. It is not saying you should leave to love better, or that love only becomes real when it is almost gone. It is saying something smaller and stranger than that. That finitude is a teacher. That the closing of a door teaches you, maybe for the first time, what was worth keeping your whole attention all along. You still remember how they held that coffee cup? Both hands, even in summer. You carry that with you now, not as proof of what you lost, but as proof of what you finally learned to see. That the ordinary details of another person are not ordinary at all. That attention, real attention, is the quietest form of love there is. And it is almost always waiting, just on the other side of knowing that something will not last forever.